Hello. Welcome. It is a Monday evening, 9 p.m. where I am. So we did end up seeing a further collapse on Bitcoin. I hypothesized that the pullback had actually ended. I believe that was at like the point 0.5 area right here. But we did end up seeing a further move to the downside. Currently, we're sitting around the 61.8% retracement. So I would say it's extremely likely that we do see the pullback end here. I think it's a possibility that we do go further, but I think it's a higher probability that we do end up seeing a little bit of bullish momentum. Maybe we see a little bit of further continuation, because if we then do look at the 4-hour time frame, we look at the BBWP. BBWP isn't quite at super extremes where the moving average is going to start to get a mean reversion. Some type like back here we got this mean reversion, and then we ended up getting a pullback from this big upwards move. Normally when we do see that mean reversion on like a 4-hour time frame, we do expect some type of like a 5% relief, I believe. Either way, we actually are seeing bullish divergence on the 4-hour. Not that's the most important. The natural target for that is normally like the 55 exponential moving average. So that would mean that our targets would be up here. I believe the yellow is the exponential moving average, 55, yeah. So our target would be about the yellow exponential moving average, which is now pivoted at 28,712. So that would kind of be not as much with the HPD, the mean reversion type play right there, but that would go for like a 5% move for the mean reversion play, and then the R side divergence would play out around like 4%. I think it's further we trade a little bit lower. I think that is a possibility. Of course, we are getting a little bit of bounce from the horizontal resistances right there. I believe that's also the 7.6. Also, that was a bounce right at the wick. Yeah, we did see all that expanding volatility, which honestly I should have seen. But either way, I was expecting a little bit of bounce from the that 1-hour setup, I believe. There's a stochastic 1-hour setup right here. Yeah, when we get across below the 15 region, we actually didn't end up seeing like any bullish movement from that. So that was almost a complete failed move, which actually wasn't expected, because it has about an 80% probability, which is extremely good for a strategy. But either way, that's all right. Just go to daily. So of course, if we're just going over like the confirmation pivots, at least in my opinion currently. So of course, if we get any closures below like 27, maybe if you want to go like really confirmate, like it's certain, if we get closures below like 26.6, that's when we're going further down, like probably like 25-ish. I would say you're probably good if you've good to say that we're going to get that downwards move. We had a closure below 27, but if you really want like further confirmation of it, would be closure below 26.6. There's this indicator that I have been experimenting with, which is actually quite interesting. This is the expected moves. Let me change the style of it, but while I am changing that, I'll explain it. So it's called the expected moves indicator, and it has to do with standard deviations and probabilities, which of course I'm very familiar with. This channel, I post a lot about probabilities of my stuff, but this also has to do with probabilities, so it has to do with standard deviations. So you can see this blue section. So from between this and this, there's about a 68% chance, 68% probability that this closure will stay in between this range. So of course we could go all the way up to 28.8, and we could go all the way further down to 27.2. So that means it is very unlikely that we see closures below this during this closures from today, from the time this video is posted until 5 p.m. on Tuesday. It's unlikely we see a closure below that, or if we see a further move to like 30. It's unlikely that occurs, because I believe there's only a 5% chance that we end up seeing closures below the yellow range. So yeah, that's extremely unlikely. But that would mean that like if we get closures below like 27.2, like I said, we're definitely going lower down, at least to like 26.5. So that's an important thing to note. I'm still going to be experimenting with that indicator. It does seem quite interesting. If we just check out the stochastic pivots, so the stochastic on the daily is, at least would be on the next closure, pivoted to the downside if we see this closure close below 28.648. So let's go just down to like a 4 hour just to check out that RSI divergence. Normally the natural target is the 55 exponential moving average. So just from right here, where'd that land us? So if we do end up seeing that RSI divergence play out on the 4 hour, that would actually flip the stochastic momentum and keep us moving to the upside. So that's just like a little bit of hopium for like the bulls. Of course, it's not certain that does happen. Jet 6 hour. 6 hour is in the oversold area. 4 hours should be crossing up actually like really soon. 3 hour almost about to cross. Actually certain that it crosses up pretty much. 2 hours up and 1 hour is up. 12 hours has been pivoted to the downside. But either way, there isn't much going on right now, at least in terms of setups. Yesterday we were going over like the potential for closure above the Gaussian channel, but of course we ended up seeing a collapse. This is also an important thing to note, is that we are now approaching near the bottom of the 6 hour Gaussian channel, which has been a pretty strong indicator of support and resistance for the past few years. Like we've got a bounce right there, of course a bounce right there, rejection, bunch of rejections across there. It actually has been one of the more higher probabilities of working out, one of the ones with the higher probability of working out. But yeah, that's just something to note. That's quite important. Of course, I don't want to just keep on saying the pullback's over, but of course the probabilities are in. It's more likely that we go to the upside. I would like to see that bullish RSI divergence to play out. Then at that point, I would probably be saying the pullback's over if we end up seeing at least closures around 28.731. That's what I would be expecting for that. Let's take another look at this expected range thing. Actually, it's quite interesting. So on this, it's unlikely that we hit that RSI divergence during this closure. Probably in about 2 closures. So in about like the next 8 to 12 hours, we should be looking for that move up. At least that's when we'd want it. At least if we take out 2 days. Yes. So about 2 to 3 closures, we should be looking at that. Yeah. So I would just be looking for this bullish RSI divergence to play out, and then wait until a few more closures to see if we end up getting a mean reversion, which of course that would be the moving average crossing above the BBWP plot line. So you definitely want to be paying attention to that. If we end up seeing the mean reversion and the RSI divergence playing out, it is extremely likely that this pullback is finished. But until then, I would say that bullish momentum does stay to the downside, at least on the shorter time frames. On larger time frames, it's very likely that we are still heading up, at least to excuse me, at least to 32 would be our target for that. But of course, closures below the range lows from right here, about 27. That's very important if that happens. I would start closing out a lot of your positions, because we are going to see, at least myself, I'm going to be extremely bearish once that happens. But of course, closures above range highs about here, 30K, that would also be extremely important for about 32. So that's just things to keep in mind for these next closures, next few hours, 12 hours. Are pretty important for Bitcoin, actually, the next 12 hours. So just be paying attention for that. That's about all. Thank you.